Welcome to this lecture in management and leadership. Today we'll be discussing advocate. Today we'll be discussing advocate. Today we'll be discussing advocate. So by the end of the lecture, please one should define the term advocate. One should define the term advocate. At the end of the lecture, we should discuss human life. We should discuss human life. At least we'll be able to discuss human life at the end of the lecture. We should describe grants without entitlement and responsibility. We should describe grants without entitlement and responsibility. Again, and by the end of the lecture, at least you should be able to explain grants life. At least at the end of the lecture, you should be able to explain grants life. At the end of the lecture, you should state Ness's life. At the end of the lecture, you should be able to state Ness's life. Introduction. As you may be aware, some people are not clear about their lives as citizens. They have difficulties in understanding this right. Others may find it hard to speak for themselves. Advocates can enable people to take more responsibility and influence the decisions which affect their lives. So as a nurse, you need to educate your clients on their lives and also influence them in terms of making decisions in life. As you know, one of the laws of the nurse is that of an advocate. So you should be able to understand the human life and also able to care the lives to citizens, your clients, the patients, the clients, if you know their lives so that you can speak on their behalf. You can advocate on their behalf. That's why we're discussing advocates today in leadership and management. Definition of terms. Advocate. An advocate is a person speaking up or acting on behalf of yourself or another person. An advocate is speaking up for or acting on behalf of or yourself or another person. Advocate is speaking up for or acting on behalf of yourself or another person. So when you're speaking on behalf of yourself, you're advocating for yourself. And also you can advocate for other people. So advocate is speaking up and also acting on behalf of yourself or other people. So you can advocate even for yourself and also other people. Advocate is speaking up for or acting on behalf of yourself or another person. Okay. The word advocate originated from the Greek word advocate, okay, meaning one who pleads on behalf of the other. So to advocate is also the word comes from the word advocate, which means to plead on behalf of others. So the model of advocate, advocacy which is used by Plow was described for areas of advocacy in relation to patient care. So as a nurse, you need to advocate for patient care. The first one, a nurse is a guardian to the patient's life. So as a nurse, a guardian to the patient's life. Also, a nurse is a preserver of patient's values. So as a nurse, you need to preserve patient's values. You need to preserve patient's values as a nurse. Again, as a nurse, you're a champion of social justice in provision of health care. So you are also a champion of social justice in provision of healthcare. So as a nurse, you are also providing justice in provision of healthcare. A nurse is a conservator of the patient's best interest. A nurse is a conservator of the patient's best interest. So as a nurse, you are conserving the best interest of the patient. Laws of a nurse in advocacy. The laws of a nurse in advocacy. So a registered nurse has a complex law in advocating for patients. So you have so many laws as a nurse in advocating for advocating for patients. The definition of advocacy varies according to who is providing the definition and the healthcare setting in which he acts. So it depends on your point of view or your perspective on where you are seeing you are applying advocacy. Advocacy ranges from speaking on behalf of patients in relation to their nursing activities such as hand washing, proper identification of patients before treatment is administered to argue that any discharge will be harmful for the patient recovery. So you can also advocate for the patient when the patient is about to be discharged. You can say, no, I think this patient should remain in the ward because it's not fully recovered. You can advocate for that as a nurse. And also there are many ways you can also advocate for your client by uh, making sure that the clients are receiving proper treatment. So you can advocate for receiving proper treatment. If a nurse observes a practice or procedure she believes to be wrong, advocating for patient's demands that she speaks out even if practice was carried out by past periods. This is not always easy and may have cost on the nurse. So if you are speaking on behalf of, if a nurse observes a practice or procedure that's all, he believes to belong, advocating for a patient's demands that he speaks out even if the practice was carried out by a so as a nurse, even if the procedure was done by a you can also advocate for the patient, say that was wrong, you should do it right next time. So as a nurse, you should praise the law of advocate. Therefore, the laws of advocacy include upholding the rights of the person without discrimination. So you can also advocate by upholding the rights of the person without discrimination. Also, you can act always as the best interest of the. So you can also advocate by making sure that the interests of the nurse and the patients are met. Also act as the inter uh, guide in patients care. So you can also make sure that you can also make sure access in terms of that in patients care. So make sure that care is followed according to the procedures. Human life. So we're going to look at human life since we're looking at advocates. You can't advocate for a patient if you don't understand human life. So we're going to look at human life. So the principle of universal of human life is the cornerstone for international human life. Universal human rights are often expressed and guaranteed by law. International human rights encourages uh, governments to act in certain ways to refrain from certain acts in order to promote and protect human lives for individuals or groups. The Universal Declaration on Human Rights was reached in 1948. Government and states have been encouraged to promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedom regardless of the political, economical, and cultural system. So we should protect the lives of our citizens regardless of their political, economical, and culture systems. What is a human life? Human life are life that you simply have because of you being a human being. So I have the right to freedom, right to justice, right to equality, right to prosper. All those are some of the life you have as an individual. So those are life you have because of being a human being. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We're going to look at the 30 articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So there are many versions of human rights. Therefore, it is simplified version of 30 articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Declaration of Human Rights has been created especially for young people. These are we are all born free and equal. So human right number one, we are all born free and equal. We are all born free and we all have our own thoughts and ideas. We all have our own thoughts and ideas. We should all be treated in the same way. So that's the right of every human being that uh, we are all born free and equal. Right number two, don't discriminate. Don't be discriminated. These rights belong to everybody, whatsoever our differences, whatsoever our differences. So don't be a discriminator. Also, we have right to life. We all have the right to life and to live in freedom and safety. So every individual has the right to live, the right to life. Every individual has the right to life. No slavery. It's a human right. Everyone has the right to not slavery as a human being. Everyone has the right to not slavery. We cannot make anyone our slave. Nobody has so no slavery. So it's a right. Everyone, no one should be a slave, and no one should be made a slave. No torture. Every it's a human right. No one should be subjected to torture. Nobody has a right to harm or torture others. So no torture as a human right. You have life no matter where you go. I'm a person just like you. So you have life no matter where you go. So whether in Lusaka, in Copperbelt, in Kasama, in Solwezi, you are in Zimbabwe, you are in SA, you have life wherever you go. Because these are universal human life. Also, we have we are all equal before the law. The law is the same for everyone. It must be equal and fair. So wherever you go, the law should be fair regardless of where you come from, whether you are rich or not. The law should be fair. I should be treated, everyone should be treated fair. The human rights are protected by law. We can all ask for the law to help us when we are not treated fairly. No unfair determinant. Nobody has the right to put us in prison without good reason. So everyone has the right not to be put in prison without any reason unless you have committed a crime. The right to trial. Everyone has the right to trial. If you are put on trial, this should be in public. That's why if you commit any crime, you are put to trial in the court of law where everyone can see. The people who try us to not let anyone tell them what to do. So that's a right. Also, life, life, we are always innocent till proven guilty. So this is a human life. No one should subject you or discriminate you for anything unless you are proven guilty. Nobody should be blame you for doing something unless it is proven. When people say we did a bad thing, we have the right to show it. It is not true. The right to privacy is a human right. Everyone should be given privacy. Nobody should try to harm our name. Nobody should try to has the right to come in our home, open our letters, or bother us, our families without a good reason. So it's a right to privacy. Everyone has a right to privacy. Freedom to move. Everyone has the freedom to move. We all have the right to go where we want in our own country, travel as we wish. It's a right. Uh, the right to seek a safe place to live. If we are threatened or being badly threatened in our country, we have the right to run away to another country to be safe. It's a human right. If you want, you can go and stay in another country. You'll be protected because it's a human right. If you are threatened doing something, we have the right to nationality. We all have the right to belong to a country. Right to marriage and family. Everyone grow up with the right to marry and have a family if they want to. Men and women have the same life when they are married and when they are separated. So everyone has the right to marry and the right to family. Uh, the right to your own things. Everyone has the right to have their own things or share them. Nobody should take our things from us without a good reason. One has freedom of thought. We have the right to believe in whatever we believe. Have right to have religion, also to change if we want. Also, we have freedom of expression. We have freedom of expression. We have the right to make up our own mind, to think the way we like, to say whatever we think, and also to share our ideas with others. So everyone has a right. to freedom, regardless of the political party you belong to. You can express yourself. The right to public assembly. Everyone has the right to public assembly. We all have the right to meet our friends and workmates in peace to defend our lives. Nobody can make us join if we don't want to. We have right to democracy. We have the right to take part in government of our country. Every grown-up should be allowed to choose their own leaders. Next, you have the election. Everyone has the right to democracy, has the right to choose his own leader. We have social security. We have the right to afford housing, medicines, education, child care, enough money to live on, and medical help if we are ill. Health workers' rights. Every grown-up has the right to do a job, to do a fair wage, and join a trade union. The right to pray. Everyone has the right to pray. We all have the right to rest from work and also relax, to chill. We have that right to enjoy ourselves. Food and shelter for all. We all have the right to good life. Mothers and children, people who are old, unemployed, disabled, all people have the right to be cared for. Right to education. Education is a right. Primary school should be free. We should learn from United States, United Nations, and also how to get others. Our parents can choose what we learn. Copyright. Copyright is a special law that protects one's own creations and writing. Others cannot make copies without permission. So it's a right. Everyone has it. We all have the right to our own way of life and enjoy the good things that art and science and learning brings from. We have also a fair and a free world. There must be proper order so that we can enjoy life and freedom in our own country and our own world. Responsibility. We have a duty to others and we should protect their life and freedom. So we all have a responsibility to take care of others and also we should protect others. It's, 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 it's one of the fundamental human rights. The last one, no one can take away your human life. No one can take away your human life. So these are the 20 fundamental human rights. I think you have heard by yourself. So the patient's view of life. So we should also learn about the patient's view of life. So Zambia is the signatory of the UN, United Nations, therefore support human life. So Zambia signed this human rights report, United Nations. So therefore we support human rights in Zambia. The view of life in part 3 of the current Zambian constitution provides for protection of fundamental life and freedom. So all those the basic fundamentals of life, they are protected. However, the rights pertaining to improvement of welfare of citizens such as education, health, housing, employment, and social security are not placed in the view of life, even though economic and social and culture have been recognized to be important in the realization of political and uh, civic rights. So, right to health, right to housing, right to employment, they are not there in the fundamental rights because if they were there in the fundamental human rights, we could be suing the government for not giving us education and also not providing fast good health. So they are not there. The rights are placed under Part 4 of the Constitution, which deals with directive principles of state bodies. So those right to health, right to housing, right to employment, right to economical, they are under the state bodies. They are the ones who they may be obtained as far as state resource permit. So they are not under the fundamental human rights. The view of life for patients. We are going to look at the view of life for patients. To get the most from your healthcare with the patient's view of life. When patients are admitted, they have their life towards their responsibility. So when the patient is admitted, they have their own life and also their own responsibility. A view of life is a list of the most important life to the citizen of the country. The view of life is a list of the most important life to the citizen of the country. The purpose of this view is to protect those lives against any infringement. This view of life address key areas. You can check on the following. So information for patients. So information for patients under the view of life. You have the right to accident and easily understood information about your health plan, healthcare profession and healthcare facility. So patients have the right to understand their plan of care and also the healthcare professional and also the facility. Choose choice of providers and plans. As a patient, you have the right to choose healthcare providers who can give you quite high quality care. So they can decide whether to come to the private hospital, go to the private hospital, go to the public hospital. They have the right to choose where they're supposed to go and assess their health. And also they have the right to say, no, I don't want to, I want another person to attend to me. Access to emergency services. If you have any severe pain, injury, sudden illness, patients have the right to access uh, emergency services. Patients have a right to take part in treatment decision. So patients also have the right to take part in decision of treatment decision. You have the right to choose your treatment options and also take part in decision about care. You have the right to ask about the advantage and disadvantage of any treatment, including no treatment at all. So a client or a patient has a decision also to take part in the treatment. Respect and non-discrimination. Patients have the right to respect and non-discrimination. You have the right to consider respect from your care providers. There should be no discrimination, race, national origin, sex, age, mental, sexual orientation, gender conformation, and also source of payment. So patients should not be discriminated regardless of where they come from, whatever they have, they should not be discriminated. Confidential of health information. Patients have the right to confidentiality. Whatever you do, they should be uh, they like they should they should be private. So I have the right to talk to patients private with the healthcare and also have healthcare information protected. So the healthcare information should be protected for a client. You have the right to read and copy your medical record. So the client has the right to read and copy the medical record. They have the right to ask for your doctors to change in order if it's not correct, relevant, or incompetent. Complete. Complain and appeal. You have the right to fair, fast, and objective review of any complaint. And you have your health plan, doctors, health hospitals, and other healthcare professions. So as clients, they have the right to complain and also appeal. Consumer responsibility. In healthcare system that protects patients' rights, patients should be expected to take some responsibility to provide best possible care. We ask for clients and families should be respective to providers. So some of the things we should look out for patients in healthcare setting, they should respect providers to tell us correct and complete information about their health wishes for healthcare, changes in the care and conditions. Okay, those are some of the uh, patient's life. We're going to look at view of life for nurses. View of life for nurses. You also need to understand your view of life as a nurse. Also need to understand the view of life as a nurse. Nurses have the right to practice in a manner that fulfills their obligation to society and to those who receive nursing care. Nurses have the right to practice in environment that allows them to act in accordance with professional standards and legal authorized scope of practice. Nurses have the right to work in an environment that support and facilitate practice in accordance with the code of ethics for nurses with interpretive statements. So nurses have the right to practice in a manner that fulfills their obligation to society and also have their who are receiving care. Patients have the nurses have the right to practice in an environment that allows them to act in accordance with professional and legal authorized practice. Nurses have a right to free and open advocate for themselves and also for their patients without fear of uh, retribution. So as a nurse, you have the right to freely and open advocate for themselves and also for their patients. Nurses have the right to fair compensation for their work. So you also have the right as a nurse for fair compensation for their work consistent with their knowledge, experience, and professional responsibility. Nurses have the right to work in an environment that is safe for themselves and their patients. Nurses have the right to negotiate the condition of employment as individual or collective in the practice setting. Nurses' view of life is a quick side. It's a quiet side. However, leaders and managers of institutions should be aware and strive to provide a conducive environment and nurses in practice provide high quality of care and safety. So as a manager, it's important also to understand the view of life for nurses. Okay, today we're going to end here.